Blessings. All right, we're going to be exploring. Working with like it's called resting the restless mind, and I don't think any of us is spared the agitation and the discomfort of restlessness. It's talked about it quite a bit as a hindrance in Buddhist psychology and Buddhist teachings. So I'm happy to explore it today and give us some tools and some insight that can help us open to the contentment that is our birthright. So we'll also be talking about santosha, or contentment, and the cultivation of that. So let's go ahead and just settle in. I'm just going to take a moment to, connect to how we are. As you come into your body, you're just putting your fingers on the pulse of your emotional terrain, on your energy level, on your sort of mental state. And you're not digging for anything, you're just noticing what you're in touch with. Maybe you're starting to make contact in a way you haven't yet today with yourself. And then you can just notice your intention, what it is, if there is one that's on your heart, what your heart most wants. While you're here. And may our time together serve to connect you to that for the benefit of all, with ease and with grace. All right. Yeah. Just looking in the chat. Yeah. I'd love to hear from you if you have an intention, either Anna or Devaya or Candace. If you have one, share it. You can put it in the chat. All right. So we can also, when we talk about rest, we have restlessness, and restlessness is a descriptor in this context of the mind. The heart can be restless as well. Um, uh, the heart can, reflect other emotions. The heart might be agitated or afraid, and the mind, we can say, feels restless. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm so glad, Devaya. Yeah, always searching for contentment. It's so good to know that, as Anna, as you mentioned that. I always like to, it's so good to know that we're all wanting the same things, like all of us here. And I haven't met a human being who this isn't true for. That, we're we long for this connection to the always there. It's always there, this invitation to just drop the burden. And we sense like what that would feel like to really have contentment. And we taste it, we do taste it in our lives for sure. And it's really beautiful when we taste it and we know we're tasting it. And it comes and goes just like everything else. But I think the promise of practice is freedom from suffering, is not a permanent kind of contentment, but more of it, more of it, to feel more at home inside our own skin, like more of the time, to know we are loved and to be held by that love, because the doubt of it isn't as loud. It's not a love we have to search for. It's not a contentment that we have to search for. And isn't it true that it's often the things that are like closest to us that we overlook? And so it's good to start off with this confidence. Like we can be confident in our capacity to practice. Yeah, to practice. And we can be confident that we don't have to like have worry or restlessness on the altar for our life to turn out okay. Sometimes it's like if we're not restless or we're not worried, and the two are often mentioned together when we talk about restlessness as a hindrance in the Buddhist teachings. When we can feel like we're betraying our care. So I'll just let that land. It kind of can feel like, wait a second, I gotta be looking for something. I gotta, there must be, something. If I'm not upset about something or I'm not agitated by something, it's almost like, we have a attachment to it. We have a addiction to it, to our worry. It's really good. This is actually the first point that I wanted to mention, is that we are very attached to. Here, I sent a message like right at 9 out to everyone because I realized it didn't go out. So just to give folks an opportunity to come. So welcome to hop on. We underscore, I think, even in the teaching of like, just let go of your thoughts. Like it's so easy. It drives me freaking bonkers sometimes. I'm like, actually, I mean, that is true. We can let go of thoughts, absolutely. But we also need to understand that there's a deep identification we have with our thoughts. It's not easily just detached from. Right. So when we have and thoughts or images, impressions, they're laced with emotion. They're woven with emotion. They're visceral, and so they're potent and powerful. And as I was talking about I believe it was in one of our classes, the first kind of ouch moment response when something happens in our experience that we don't like or we think shouldn't be there, is a bristling. It is like an agitation of the heart and the mind, an ouch moment. And so that's going to happen. Now, how do we work with that? That's what practice is about. Okay, so I think that's just an important point to don't underestimate, and we can't get mad. It's like beating ourselves up for caring once again what somebody thinks, or beating ourselves up for getting caught in catastrophizing or worrying, or as one of my mentors calls it, my lamenting. She calls it my lamenting. Oh, Karina, you're getting caught in your lamenting. But it's like I have, but it's said with love. It's like, yeah, I am, because that's what we do as human beings. Now, knowing that, we can really administer or offer compassion when we get caught. Um, our restlessness, the natural state of our minds, is peace and contentment. But we've given and our minds have a huge part, and our thoughts have a huge part in fueling our restlessness and our worry. So we absolutely need to get some space between our thoughts and who we think we are. But the only way to do that is to first like acknowledge this is sticky stuff. Like this is not like easy, and it's important that we have so much compassion for. Number two, we've given our minds this really impossible job of making life comfortable for us all the time. We have this, this is so much of our consumption is about this, right? So much of our discontent is fueled from this belief that how the moment is shouldn't be. There's a lot of shit going on right now, you know? And I'm not saying that in our life, but I mean, I think this is always true. And it doesn't mean that we don't take action. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is to think it should be some other way, to think that there's some other place where everything is going to be the way I want it to be, is a fantasy. And we buy into it, I mean, there's like our whole, so much of our economy, right, is fueled from this. But this belief that if stuff doesn't like feel good, or life isn't happening the way I like it to be, my kids aren't acting the way I want them to, my partner isn't acting the way I want him to, my friends aren't, culturally we're like, there's so much going on. My kids are back to school right now, and so much going on with I'm not even going to talk about it because it's like all over everything. I'm speaking specifically with COVID. So much going on with that, and a lot, right? It's a lot. And if I think it should be somehow different or easier, it shouldn't be like this, that restlessness is going to, make everything so much harder and so much more exhausting. And so, welcome, those of you who joined. I'm glad you got the message, right? My emails didn't go out the way they usually do, so I'm glad you got the last minute one. I'm glad you're here. So that's the mind is just trying to like help us out. It's trying to like, okay, you want a comfortable world all the time? Well, let me analyze and compare and fix you and fix the world. Let me just do that all the time so that you can have what you want. Michael Singer does a nice job in The Untethered Soul of talking about this. How the mind is just burdened with this impossible thing of like making life comfortable for us all the time. It's not the mind's job. Give your mind a break. Be kind to your mind. Be kind to your mind. Even if it's restless and busy and agitated, it's really just trying to help you out. I think it's a good thing to remember this, because sometimes we can get mad at our minds. A big part of this is the way we've trained our attention, because we're trying to fix life to suit us. and we get into the, well, we're gaming it out all the time. You ever notice how your mind's doing that? It's gaming out, gaming out. Well, if I do this and do that, then I'll have that. Well, what am I going to eat? It's even the littlest thing, lunch. What am I going to have for lunch? What am I going to have for breakfast? How am I going to do this? What am I going to say about around that? What am I going to, it's gaming out, And that's just the mind. It's so good to know that that's just what the mind does. It's just trying to help us out. Part of the reason and part of what fuels restlessness is that we focus, right? And we always do have a choice about what we focus on. But anyway, I'll talk more about that. But we focus on what's wrong. We focus so much on the freaking problem. Why? And we shouldn't bypass. Acknowledge there's an issue, 100% if there is one. We should do what we can. We should always do what we can to inspire peace and possibility for every human being. No doubt about that. And to complain and rethink and rehash and have conversations at the dinner table where you're like solving the world's problems, but you're really not. It's like all of the commentary. It's really exhausting and it fuels a restless mind. It fuels it. And so we think about what's a practice that can help offset that. Because it's like the mind has been trained. It's just knee-jerk reaction to focus on the problem. No shame in that. Like sometimes I wake up, it's like the first thing I think about. What's wrong? I mean, I'm just being honest. Like I think that's our minds are like that. Give your mind a break. We have to, just like when you're working with a little kid, right? If you're with a little kid, man, yeah, if Arthur, ate as much candy as he wanted to, wouldn't be a good thing, right? So same with your mind. Don't let your mind have at it in the catastrophic, what could go wrong domain, right? So we have to, almost like a little kid, pick the mind up, take the candy away, right? And take it, it's like, and we can make it a practice to incline the mind towards what's right. I know you already know this, so do I, but guess what? Like I get amnesia about it, and so do you. This is our predicament, right? So it's like, even right now, we can just start to take in what's right. We don't have to do this, by the way, to negate what's not working. This often it's like we can hold both. Okay, this is hard. Arthur's off school today because, right? It's like not the easy go back to school thing it used to be. If someone's sick, and I appreciate that. And I know the district is freaking doing the best they can. I don't even know how they're doing all of what they're doing, right? But it's like, it's incredible to me because I look at that. I have great appreciation for the people who are showing up every day for my kids. And they're trying to make this work as best as they can. And I get that. And it's imperfect system. And it's causing inconvenience. Like my son's home from school today, even though he's not sick, right? He's not sick. But long story short, my mind is balanced around it. My mind is balanced around it because I can see a bigger perspective and a bigger picture because of my practice. The world is going to hell in a handbasket. My marriage is going to hell in a handbasket. My kid is going to hell in a handbasket. Anytime that's going on in the mind, it should be a red flag. Nothing's ever going to hell in a handbasket. Seriously. Like, it's like that is the melodramatic, restless thinking mind. So one of the ways, a great antidote that is just to like, okay, I get that. And what's beautiful, good, or true? Like the tree outside my window, this deep breath. Just this being. There's really nothing wrong in this being. Okay, so this is true self-care. This is true reparenting. We actually gotta like pick our mind out of the gutter. You know, when we notice it goes there, we like, and that's what we do when we're like, that's what love does. And then the last point I wanted to mention around this theme of resting the restless mind is what I spoke to. Equanimity is this capacity to hold both. Yeah, there will always be, as one of my teachers says, a million things right and a million things wrong. That doesn't mean we don't do stuff about, it doesn't mean that at all. I mean, we're always in process and progress, but there will still always be a million things right and a million things wrong. I've shared this with a couple of you because it really struck me. I was watching like a film where they took the little opening sequences of different presidents' like inauguration speeches. And for really like lots of presidents, I forget which one they started with, but it was like, and every single one, it was pretty much the same. It was like, stuff's really shitty right now, but we're gonna like make it better. It was that same thing. I don't want to say like, but we don't, it's like, of course, like we're always trying to make things better. But this idea that we're going to get rid of and everything's going to be hunky-dory and the way I like it, and that's an illusion, that's fantasy, that's suffering. And it is the carrot dwindling in front of your nose, in those old Bugs Bunny cartoons. He goes, he's always trying to get the carrot, and the carrot goes ahead of him, right? Right? Hopefully, madness, sanity happens when we stop chasing the carrot. But we got to realize the whiff of that carrot is intoxicating. It's like, come think me, come worry about me. That's what our practices are for, because we get to learn a new way. Imagine that. Imagine that. The possibility of peace and satisfaction and connection. Really the possibility of being you. Just you. At ease inside your own skin. What could be better than that? So let's have confidence in our capacity to practice. And we're going to, a little piece I wanted to mention about equanimity here is something that's really helpful for the mind. The mind loves, something that really settles a restless mind is something that it can pay attention to. So we're going to work with that in the beginning of our meditation practice. It's also called jhana practice. I'm not a jhana practice expert by any stretch. My chops have always been more in like the non-dual Soto Zen and Vipassana traditions, but concentration of the mind is very, if you're really in it, right? If you're really upset by something, it can bring you down from a 10 pretty quickly. So we're going to start with a little concentration practice, and then we'll open it up to equanimity practice. All right. Let's take a nice deep breath in. And as we pivot to our sit, I always mention that these talks are offered by donation, and your donation really makes a difference. And I'm on all of the things. You can find me on Zelle or PayPal or Venmo, and I think there should be a donation button on my website at karinanickerson.com. I wanted to offer this to you from Thomas Keating. It's from his book, Open Heart, Open Mind. This presence is so immense, yet so humble, awe-inspiring, yet so gentle, limitless, yet so intimate, tender, and personal. I know that I am known. Everything in my life is transparent in this presence. It knows everything about me, all my weaknesses, brokenness, sinfulness, and still loves me infinitely. This presence is healing, strengthening, refreshing, just by its presence. It is non-judgmental, self-giving, seeking no reward, boundless in compassion. It is like coming home to a place I should never have left, to an awareness that was somehow always there, but which I did not recognize. If you sense it would feel good, just take a few deep breaths. Really just as the breath resumes its natural rhythm, letting ease, letting ease come in. Noticing what 5 or 10% more ease feels like. You don't have to keep it. Just letting yourself sort of rest inside it. Nothing to sort. You don't have to sort your life out right now. And like the aperture on a camera, you can open it up real wide or you can hone it and focus it. We're going to hone awareness on the breath. You don't have to change your breath at all. Just notice your breath has a beginning, a middle, and an end. There's a space between. Let nothing exist but the beginning, middle, and end of your breath. And the space between. We're not trying to block sensations or thoughts at all. We're just allowing the aperture to hone in on your breath. And just noticing where your attention is. Some carrots smell really good. We didn't even realize, we got involved with it. Fold that, fold the leaving the breath back into your practice. Not a mistake. It can just be a gentle noticing, oh, I was gone. And come back to the beginning or middle or end of your breath, or the space between. Other experiences like sounds, sensations. We can just open up the aperture to include coming back to the breath at any time. Present moment awareness wants to be refreshed. You really don't have to manage anything right now or figure anything out. You really can just step outside the tangle of thinking and just rest in being. You don't need to manage your internal state. Sometimes sadness is here, and sometimes peace is here, and sometimes restlessness is here. It's not your fault. the mind has been caught in something, just relax. You really contrast the wordless sort of background of experience. It's like a resting place. Allowing your body too to be a resting place, belly soft. This is enough. Nothing, no experience you could ever have is outside of this holding. If you like, you can bring your palms together in front of your heart or not. We'll chant the blessing of metta as it's a way to just share the merits of our practice with all beings everywhere. We'll chant 3 times. Taking a deep breath in. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be happy. And blessings. We can let our eyes open, orient to our space once again. So good to sit with you, Anna and Melissa and Sandra and Devaya and Candace. Anything in particular? Yeah, you don't have to do this, but I always like to know if there's like something that resonated with you or that you're taking away with you into the rest of your day. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Melissa. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and take myself off the pin. Look at gallery view. Yeah, not needing to figure everything out. Yeah, nice resting and allowing. Perfect. May your day be touched by your practice, and may others be touched by your practice today, by our practice. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And if I don't see you before then, some of you I will see before then. Much love, much love, much love. Metta, metta to you. And we can take ourselves off mute and say goodbye.
Bye, Katrina. I'll see you later.
Sounds good, Candace.
Yeah. Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank
I'll
you.
see you, Devaya. See you later.